Well, hello, and welcome to the In a Flash, The Years Go By podcast, where the Vernon, Texas High School class of 1982 alumni come home to tell the stories that shaped us long after we left the halls of VHS. I'm Ray Gerald, and every episode I have the privilege of visiting with a fellow Vernon Lion to revisit our high school days in Big V and share moments, memories, and milestones that carried us from our Vernon roots to wherever life took us next. These are the real-life journeys of classmates that walked the same halls, cheered under the same Friday night lights, roamed the Lion's Den floor, dragged Wilbarger Street, and watched the same Vernon, Texas sky light up. Our stories always begin in Vernon. Go, Lions! Well, welcome to this episode of In a Flash, The Years Go By podcast. Today I have the privilege of talking with our senior class president, Mickey Lovelace. Hey,
Yeah,
Mickey, how's it going, man?
it's going great, Ray. It's great to see you, man. You look awesome.
So do you, man. And thanks, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hey, before we get started, I have a quick ask of you.
Okay.
Um, so, so we're getting old, right? And so sometimes our
Yeah,
memories aren't all that
we,
great, but
we are.
I was wondering if we could do like a 2-minute drill. I'll just ask you some binary questions and you just pick one or the other or pass or whatever, however you want to answer it. Would that work for
Okay.
you? All
I'm
right,
up.
let me set the timer because you're always a fast guy, so you'll probably get through this with no problems, I know.
Oh,
All right,
no.
so you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. All right, so United Supermarkets or Coy's Foods?
United
Hmm. Rodeo or Bonfire?
Rodeo.
Dr. Pepper or Coca-Cola?
Dr. Pepper, hands down.
Journey or Foreigner?
Ooh, that's a tough one, but I'm gonna have to go Journey. Steve Perry.
Okay. Hey, was there a spring sports banquet in Vernon?
Yeah.
Okay, spring sports banquet or football banquet?
Um, I think I'm gonna go with the spring sports banquet.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Dairy Queen or Bevo's?
Ooh, Bevo's.
Football or track?
For me, track.
Okay. Junior prom or senior prom?
Senior prom.
All right. Okay, this one has three answers, so one of the three.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right. Band or drill team or cheerleaders?
Really?
You got to make somebody mad
Oh,
or somebody very happy. So one of the groups.
I'll go cheerleaders.
Cheerleaders. Okay. All right. Let's see. All right. Back to the binary questions. Running or lifting weights?
Running.
All right. Miller's Quick Check or Allsops?
Allsops, because of the burritos.
Nobody's brought that up so far. All right. Good. Your memory's working good.
Yeah.
Lake Camp or Pease River?
Champ.
All right. Hardee's or Sonic?
It kind of depended on what year it was, because
Yeah.
Sonic.
Sonic closed
when
up.
Yeah. I have more memories of Hardee's,
Okay.
but I have great memories of Sonic and the
All right.
drag, all that stuff. That was
Yeah.
fun too.
All right. Well, okay, going into overtime. All right. So senior play or one act play?
Senior play.
All right. Uh, Pep rallies or bus trips?
Pep rallies.
All right. Lunch at the cafetorium or lunch off-site?
Um, I enjoyed the cafeteria, actually.
Yeah. All right. I
I
did
can't
too.
remember the name of that one thing they made with the hamburger meat. It was all closed up.
Western burgers.
Western burgers.
Western burgers.
I
Those are
ate there on
delicious.
Western Burger Day.
All right. Pizza Hut or Pizza Point?
Pizza Point.
Yay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Putt-putt or the skating rink?
Skating rink.
All right. And the Plaza Movie Theater or the Drive-In Theater?
Plaza.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, that's it. Way to go,
Cool.
man.
All right, I passed.
Yeah, you passed. You got all of them, I don't even think there's a fail. It's all pass.
All
All right,
right.
awesome. Well, thanks for playing along.
Yeah.
So before we get started on the rest of the show, uh, have you always gone by Mickey? And if
Yeah,
so, how did that come about?
Mickey and Mick.
Mickey and Mick? All right,
Yeah,
because you're Michael, right? Is your official
yeah,
name?
but nobody calls me Michael. I mean, if it's tax time or whatever, I have to put Michael down.
Yeah.
It's only the formal things that I have to put Michael down. But if somebody says Michael in a crowd, I'm not turning around.
Okay. And that's been since you were a little kid?
Yeah, my parents purposely named all of my siblings. Uh, they have formal names, but we all went by our nicknames. So my
Oh,
brother
okay.
was Daniel, and he went by Danny. My
Okay.
sister was Melissa. She went by Missy, and I'm Michael, and I go by Mickey.
All right. Okay.
And I get a lot of people call me Mick, which I
Yeah.
like, and
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's it's endearing, I guess.
Yeah. I think I called you both. Seems like more Mickey regularly, but Mick quite often.
Yeah, most
All
people
right.
say the whole word, which is weird, but people I'm closest to, they call me Mick.
Okay.
Yeah.
So were you born and raised in Vernon? You came later, didn't you?
I was born in Vernon.
Oh,
Actually,
okay.
born there. My dad was from Vernon,
Yeah.
and we lived there. And truthfully, I don't know how old I was when we moved away because I was a baby.
Oh,
Obviously, I was
okay.
probably an infant. And Dad got a job in DFW as a CPA, and Perma Products was the name of the company. And we were there a long time until 1975. And then
Okay.
in the summer of 75, we moved to Vernon, and I
Okay.
started the sixth grade after that
Sixth
year.
grade. All right.
Yeah,
Became an intermediate. Okay.
yeah. We lived on
Did
Paradise Street the whole
okay. So
time.
yeah. All right. Right where
So,
that bend, that there's a bend on that
yeah,
street, kind
there's
of.
a band there, and
Yeah. Yeah.
Linda
You have.
Fox lived across the road for a little while, and there's a church there as well.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know
Uh,
what it is now.
I mean, it's been a while. Did you know any of the since your dad was from Vernon? Did you I assume you came back periodically? Did you know any of our kids or our classmates or anybody before you
um,
came back?
before I came back. Oh
Yeah.
no, no.
No?
Before then, no, I had no clue of Vernon people
Okay.
before.
Okay.
I
So
had to
came
meet
to yeah. All right. So came to intermediate. And well, what who did you kind of hang around with? Who were some of your friends then?
I think the first person, boyfriend that was, I think was Dale Scott.
Dale
And
Scott.
then I started hanging out with Rob Bocart.
Oh, Bokar. All
Yeah,
right.
we called him Robbie,
All
of course.
right.
And he was my bicycle buddy, man. We rode around on bike everywhere. Dairy
Yeah.
Queen, shot spit wads at Dairy Queen, and uh, got chew tobacco for the first time, rode bikes, and got sick as a dog.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of fun with Rob Bocart.
Okay. Uh, and so moving into being new to the school or new to Vernon, moving into high school, was that a good thing, a tough thing, or what?
I was a little nervous. I think most, eighth graders going into high school after graduation are nervous what the seniors are going to do to them and stuff. I
Yeah.
kind of got protected.
Hmm.
My sister, Missy, was dating Wayne Baldwin,
Okay.
and she ended up marrying him. And
Yeah.
anyway, he came and picked me up after school, uh, when we graduated eighth grade, and
Yeah.
I think took me home, from what I recall, because I was nervous they were going to round us all up and do something mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I got saved. I don't know if any of the other guys got harassed or anything, but yeah, I got out of there unscathed.
Yeah. And Wayne, he was our senior, right? He was one of our seniors,
He was a
senior
senior.
when we were freshmen.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, when
Yeah.
you think of high school, what are some memories that come to mind for you?
Um, I think, I was involved in football and track. We've kind of discussed that. I really liked track more, as I said
Mhm.
earlier. I like running. I like working out and doing all that stuff. And football, honestly, was fun. Um, I hated two a days. In
Yeah.
fact, my senior year, I really contemplated not playing my senior year.
Really?
And yeah, because of two a days.
Wow.
They were tough, man. I thought they were anyway. But you know, I got out there and I really hustled. I mean, that was one of my things is I wanted to be the first to finish on the, you know, whatever drill we were doing, and I pushed myself. But it was football was fun, but it was hard too.
Yeah, it was. I remember Roy talking about, 2 days we were in the heat,
Oh,
that senior year, and
I remember drinking nasty water.
yeah,
We weren't supposed to have any water, but sometimes they had those irrigation pipes. You remember that?
yeah,
Those irrigation
yeah,
pipes up there, and sometimes they
yeah,
were like open. We'd go drink that, and we're just like, that's rat water right there.
yeah,
There's no telling. I'm surprised we didn't get sick, but
yeah. Did
man,
they
it
not
was
have the solution out there? Remember the solution?
yeah
Gatorade, whatever
during,
they call it, solution?
during break.
Yeah, break. That was it.
But
Yeah.
yeah, if we were
Oops.
out there and we were huffing and puffing, you know, it was like, man, I need some water.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what were some memorable moments? I have one memorable moment about football, but what was some of your memories of playing football? And we'll get into coaching
Um,
in a little
you
bit.
know, I loved the games. The games were fun and exciting and all that stuff. I really liked that. I guess the downside to it was, you know, if I wouldn't have played that football my senior year, I probably wouldn't have broke my back. I broke
Yeah,
my
that's
the last game, and they, you know, I ended up in a body cast, and
yeah,
I don't know if everybody knows that because it happened right at the end of the year that I found out because I went through track with it and everything. They didn't know, and I got a
yeah,
body cast. I think in the summer of our graduation,
yeah,
and that was a bad moment. But if I wouldn't
yeah.
have played football that year, that probably wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, that's one of the things I wanted to ask you about because, you know, unfortunately, my Rudy moment comes because you got hurt.
Yeah,
And so I go in and I always thought, it was, there's always the let Ray play and, I never got in, and then, you go down and you get in there, Gerald, and, the crowd goes wild. Yay, Ray's playing, oh,
yes,
hang on, Mickey's really hurt. This is not good, you know? And so then there's the hush, that goes down and,
yeah.
but you walked off, right? You weren't on a stretcher or anything like that, or were
I
you?
did. I did walk off, but I was
I,
loopy.
yeah, and
Very,
I remember, you sitting on the bench and you had an ice pack, on your neck or in the head or somewhere, and I had caught a pass, which was
yeah,
another wonderful thing for me. In
yeah.
hindsight, I was thinking, well, I did it comes at the cost of Mickey. I thought, and so over the years, I thought well, that was great, and yet you were hurt. But I remember you had the wherewithal to say, "Hey, I heard you caught a pass, and you seem to be genuinely happy for me." I was
Oh,
like, "I did, dude." And I
yeah.
remember,
I have that same memory. I
you
remember you.
did?
Yeah, I remember you catching it, and I remember you. I remember I didn't get up because I was, like I said, I was kind of dazed.
Yeah, yeah,
I remember you coming over and us talking and being happy for you and all that stuff. So it was
yeah,
great. It was
yeah.
great.
And the other thing I remember is that a funny thing. So because you got hurt like in the second quarter, I'm thinking, yeah, the
I,
second quarter is before halftime.
I don't. Yeah,
Uh,
it was. I think it
and I
was.
remember
Yeah.
we were transferring, I think for the next season, they were going to move to the wing tee from the veer or whatever. And I remember Brad Clifton was going to be the wing back for that, right? And so,
Uh,
but I had practiced some of that, and I think you probably were in that play as well. But I remember as we're going in for halftime, I go up to Coach Coker and I'm like, "Hey, so this wing tee, asking him kind of the play, what to do." And he just kind of patted me on the back. I'm like, you don't have to worry about that. Like, we're not going to put Ray Gerald in there for that. So, okay, so
that's actually how I got hurt
yeah, on
running
that play,
too. Yeah, it was a
yeah,
reverse.
you got flipped over and
Got
somebody
flipped
hit you
over
in the
and
back.
hit me right in the back. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, uh, so you go to the doctor. You said because I was thinking, I remember when we hung around the summer that you had that body cast.
Yeah, in the
But
summer.
you didn't have it during the school year. So
No.
walk us through that. Like, how, where did you go for the doctor? What did they say? How did they not pick it up? Or what was that
Well,
process?
I was also a pole vaulter in a
Yeah.
rank, and it didn't really hurt that much pole vaulting. And they did say we do get breaks like this from pole vaulters. And so it could have happened during track, but I didn't have an event like I did in football where I got hit. I mean, literally, we had film
Yeah.
showing me going upside down and getting hit in the back.
Yeah.
So I really do think it was football. And but what hurt was when I ran. Um, it didn't hurt while I was running, but when I was, you're coasting down, like if we're doing a relay and I hand off the baton and, you're slowing down and watching, man, it would shoot up my back. Like I remember one time just falling into the grass. It was practice. It wasn't a track meet or anything, but I just fell in the grass because it was hurting so bad. And
Okay.
so I fractured the same lumbar, but in two different places on each side. So it wasn't a clean break. It's really fractures.
Okay.
And so
Wow.
there's those little, it almost looks like a Mickey Mouse ears.
Yeah.
And there was cracks, just identical cracks on both sides. And we
Wow.
didn't find it till after track season. I flew up to Kansas City of all places. And because my grandfather was a surgeon and he had connections, and they finally found it with, I believe it was called a tomogram. And it's a
Hmm.
weird deal that goes around your body like this and just rotates. And I guess it gets a real good 3D because I'd had x-rays and nobody saw anything.
Yeah.
And so that was the x-ray that found it. And they fitted me for a body cast.
Wow.
Yeah, nightmare.
I remember that. You always looked real buff in the summer because you were wearing that
Oh,
extra.
yeah, yeah. It made you look big. I had to go to college my first year in that thing. And that wasn't fun because the silly thing squeaked on
Oh,
me in class because
yeah.
it had Velcro on the sides and I could get out to shower, but I had to get back in it, sleep
Yeah.
in it, everything.
Really.
And you wore a t-shirt underneath it to keep it from squeaking or baby
Right.
powder, it was not fun. It was not fun.
Wow. And I remember you had to bend at the waist, or you couldn't curve.
Oh yeah,
You're always real stiff, and you always kind of did
yeah,
this thing. I remember that.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
All right. Well, I know that was my memory. Well, we've had lots of memories from high school, but I remember
Oh,
that. Uh,
yes.
so what were some other things that you remember about high school? Either the classes, the teachers, coaches.
Yeah, I loved my coaches. Coach Britton, Blythe, um, Boynton,
Mhm.
uh, Beefy, as he was lovingly called.
Yeah.
Coach Brazil was a big deal for me as well. He's a great coach. So I like those coaches. My teachers probably, believe it or not, Miss Miller, she introduced me to a novel. She did the whole class, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I remember I probably had never read a book. I didn't care. I was
Right.
like, why would I
Right.
read a book? I had to read the novel for class. And man, I fell in love with reading. Like
Really?
she was the reason why I read books. I read, the Born Identities, all those
Yeah.
real big, thick books and love them and stuff. So I don't read a lot of other books right now. I read the Bible a lot, but that's kind of my go-to. And every once in a while, some other stuff, but usually inspirational stuff now. But I like reading. It's fun.
Yeah, I wish I'd have got that bug. I tell people, I'll just wait for the movie to come out. I don't do a lot of reading, and I had to read a lot in my work, so I had to read a lot of reports. And of course, I don't want to read for pleasure. I have to read for work, and it
Yeah,
wasn't it
right.
wasn't great. So, uh,
Yeah.
okay, so not learn to read, but started enjoying reading books.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
My parents were
Uh,
big readers. My mom was a big reader, so we had a place in our den, if you remember that.
mhm.
It had shelves on each side of the fireplace
Yeah.
full of books. I was never out of a book to read, thanks to her and my dad too. He read, but not as much as her.
Right, right, right. Okay.
Yeah.
So what brought you to Vernon in the fifth grade?
Dad got a job at Wagner State.
Okay. As
So
CPA or controller or whatever?
controller was
Controller.
his title. Yeah, but he was a
Okay.
CPA there, but he was in charge of all the CPAs. So he was the controller.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Uh, well, what words or phrases do you think you would use to describe your high school experience or your time in Vernon?
Well, most of it was really fun. You're young and you're just oblivious. to real world. You think you're going to live forever, you're never going to get sick, that kind of stuff. And so I had a lot of fun in Vernon. Vernon, I had great friends, and it was a good time. I loved doing sports. That was part of, a big part of my life.
Yeah.
Working out with my friends at football and track and, doing that stuff. So it was fun. I had fun in VOAG. VOAG was a fun time. Mr. Tatum,
Yeah.
yeah, he was a lot of fun. He's pretty laid back when he was a teacher.
Yeah.
And so we had a lot of fun there.
What did you learn in VOAG? What did you get from that?
Oh, we learned welding, light welding, learned how to arc weld mainly.
Yeah.
We did some acetylene torch stuff it was a little bit of welding on that too. We made these things out of tires for feed troughs for pigs and horses and cattle, I guess.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think Jay mentioned that. Something.
yeah. I was in
Yeah.
FFA.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
become a member kind of being in there. So I raised a calf, and we just for slaughter. So it was
okay.
just, part of being there. And then I raised a capon,
Hmm.
and Roy Stolle did too. And
Right.
he got grand champion, and I got reserve grand champion. And that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Showing these
The cable,
chickens.
those,
That's all, they're
yeah,
just chickens.
yeah, they're just chickens with their, and yet, how do you show a chicken? How do you
You
do that?
just set it up on this deal, and judges come by and
And
feel
leave it
up.
alone? You don't have to hold it or nothing. It just,
Uh, from what I recall, I think I was holding it because
okay.
they're not like pets.
Yeah.
It was in a cage. I
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right.
didn't
All
play
right.
with.
Capons. I remember the real big chest, big breasted
Yeah,
chicken,
yeah,
right? So,
yeah. And they taught us how to fatten them up for the show and all that stuff. It was
okay.
cool. It was fun.
Yeah. Did you only do that the 1 year?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I just did caping 1 year.
Okay. And how'd you do with your calf?
Uh, we slaughtered him out, and they said he slaughtered out like a cow, which wasn't
Oh,
It means it
oh,
was a lot of fat.
oh,
I didn't know what I was doing.
you fed him too well.
Yeah, maybe so. I don't know, but we didn't get anything out of that. I don't think. I don't remember keeping the meat. I think we sold it to the slaughterhouse.
Okay. It's well, who are some of your running buddies in high school? Who did you hang out with?
Well, ran with Ray Gerald. I don't know if you know him.
Yeah, he's a
Uh,
great guy, by the
he's
way.
he was a really good friend. I liked his mom. His sister was sweet. It was a good setup. That was really fun. I ran around a little bit with Jay and Bubba, Chansey, and Rob for the first part of high school, and then we didn't hang out so much during the year, and then we reconnected a little bit after high school. He came and saw us one time, Kathy and my wife and I, and with his kids, and we went out to their place and stuff, saw them, and so. But he and I touch base, you know, every probably 3 4 years.
Yeah.
We'll end up sending somebody else send a text or something. But yeah, I think that's the main ones that I hung out with.
Okay. All right, good. And so what did your time in football and or track, what did you learn? What values or how did that help you in life being in football and track?
Well, football and track are a great setup for work ethic and working, and because you've got a hierarchy of coach, boss, and just doing what they ask you to do. And then, a lot of me and some of my friends, we would do extra afters for ourselves. But it was fun because, you learn that work ethic and that it goes on the rest of your life to, take orders and until you are the boss. And then it's a different ball game, but was definitely a lot that I learned from being in sports just to be in the working world.
Mm. Okay. And so what was in your track, you're like either one of the fastest, if not the fastest guy or at least in our class, right? Weren't you? You were
Yeah.
pretty quick.
When I was a junior, there was guys faster than me, and then my senior year, I was probably the fastest. Yeah.
What what events did you run
I
or
ran the
in?
100, I ran the 440 relay, and the 200 meter.
Okay. And pole
Yeah,
vault.
and pole vault. Yeah.
Okay. And was it you and was it Brent Britton? Who was the other pole vaulters with you?
Uh, Mike Murray,
Huckleberry, okay.
he was a pole vaulter, and I think we, for a while, I don't know if it still stands, but we all had the same record at 16 feet.
16 feet. Wow. Okay.
Not bad
And
for high school. It's okay. I mean, probably nowadays it's probably nothing. It
when
was
you say the
back
record, the Vernon record or
the
the
Vernon record. Yeah.
okay. All right. And how did you do in district or did you go to state? Did you
I went to
region?
state my junior year and didn't perform good at all. I was off my game. And
Hmm.
then senior year, I think because of the back issues, I didn't jump well.
Right,
I,
right.
I couldn't beat the 16 feet. And
Yeah.
I think I did the 16 feet when I was a junior.
Oh, okay.
And
Wow.
senior year was just kind of held my own. I
Yeah.
didn't go to state or anything like that.
Okay.
I think I was like runner up or something. I remember getting a patch, but I didn't go to state.
Okay. Did you what events did you go to state? Was that in the pole vault or was it the running events or
Pole vault,
pole
and
vault?
our relay team, I think,
Relay
was
team.
also.
Who was on the relay team with you?
Oh man, you know what? I am drawing a blank. I don't remember who was on there.
Okay.
It's weird.
I'll
I'll have
look
to
it
go
up
back
in one of
to
them maybe.
Daniel.
Yeah, yeah, one of them. Yeah. All right. And so it's a typical Friday or Saturday night, if we're not playing football. What was Mickey doing? Uh,
Well,
when
if
you
it was
weren't
during football season, I was going to Lions Den because that was
yeah,
fun.
yeah. Lions Den, yeah.
The
Okay.
Lions Den
The
was
LD Club.
yeah, yeah. I totally enjoyed that. Um, I was dating somebody in high school most of the time,
Yeah.
and I usually was with her. If I
Okay.
didn't, then I'd run around with you guys or guys I mentioned earlier
Right, right.
and do that. So yeah, that's kind of was my weekends.
Yeah, yeah. Cruising up and down Wilbarger or
Oh yeah,
Hardee's, Sonic
yeah,
when it was earlier. Yeah. All right.
yeah, yeah. Did
Uh,
the whole Sonic thing. That was fun. I remember I ran into the speaker backing out of Sonic one time, put a big old dent in my hood.
didn't you have a pickup early on
Yeah,
or the whole time?
yeah. Had a 1974 brown and white Ford pickup.
Pickup, yeah. All
Yeah,
through all through high school?
yeah. Till my senior year, and then my dad helped me get a nicer car.
Yeah, okay. And what did you get? I can't remember.
It was a Cutlass.
Cutlass. Okay,
Yeah, it
yeah.
was maroon.
A maroon Cutlass. All right. And your
Yeah,
truck, I remember like had tires, pipes. Did you have pipes and all that? Fixed it
yeah.
all up and all that kind of stuff like everybody else?
Absolutely. Big old. They called them wagon wheels.
Wagon wheels. Yeah.
Yeah, they had white rims and the
Yeah.
lettering on the tires, of course, and all that.
All
Very,
right.
very 1980s kind of setup.
Okay. Uh, and I just want to say you're welcome because I was a one-term class president and you took over for me and I gave you a wonderful setup. So I hope you didn't mess it up. So that's good. Uh,
I
uh,
probably did.
no, you did good. All y'all did good. What so those are the other activities. I know you were in the one act or senior play. You
Yep.
were the lead in the senior play, weren't you?
Yeah, with Brenda Beebe in command there, and
Yeah.
she was sweet and fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played. I think my name was Roddy McDowell or something like that, maybe, or Roddy for sure. And I
Okay.
played kind of two roles because I was one of these incognito. It was the same guy, but he
You a
moonlighted as
magician? Are
a
you a
magician.
magician?
Yeah, I was a magician. And
Yeah.
so I had another life that was kind of secret, kind of like Spider-Man or something, where he's
Yeah, yeah.
during the day you're
Alter
one thing.
ego,
Yeah,
identity, different
yeah.
identity.
But that was a
Yeah,
lot of fun. I really loved that senior play. That was
yeah.
so fun. And
Yeah.
you and Roy were hilarious. Y'all stole the show. Dang it.
I wish we had I don't know if they ever filmed that. I wish we had that just to see
Oh, I know. That
what it
would be
was like.
good.
And I remember at one point, when we're doing the I can't remember if this was in the night of the play or the rehearsal or whatever. And I remember at some point we go around the stage and we bump into Starlin's character, and
Yeah.
Starlin's carrying a tray of like I know milk and like cookies or something, and she's backing up from the kitchen, and we're backing this way,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
and we back into each other, and it's supposed to startle us. And well, I remember our hair was a little bit longer. All our hair was sort of longer. And I remember milk, when I turned, milk would just kind of fling from my hair, just spilled milk. And I had to jump up into Roy's arms. So that
Oh,
was always
yeah.
an odd deal. But
Oh, that's
that was a
funny.
good time.
Yeah.
Uh,
I
all
remember
right.
those days with hair.
Yeah.
It's been a while, but I'm sure there's
uh,
people watching this that probably haven't seen me. I've been bald since my 30s. I mean, I
yeah.
shaved it off. As
Yeah.
soon
But
as
you look the
I had
same.
it,
I
I
mean,
had
for
it
the
here
most
like
part.
my dad. So
Oh,
then
yeah.
I was like, I'm taking this off. So I shaved it in my early 30s.
Yeah. That's good. That's what I think people probably should do versus that reverse mohawk thing
Yeah.
going on. So was there a moment in high school that ultimately shaped in the direction of the life that you ultimately took?
In high school, yeah, in high school, I always thought that I would leave, because I just felt
Le-
like there was
Leave
bigger
Vernon, you mean?
in Vernon. Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that I would leave Vernon and that I would go on to other things, and so, but something in Vernon that shaped me, breaking my back, and that was a big deal. That was a big effect, but it was, I kind of had left Vernon because, I had the back brace in summer
Mhm.
and then I went to college. And so, but it did happen in Vernon. So that was hard, but I don't know that it shaped my direction because I would have probably gone there anyway.
Sure.
You go to these colleges, you don't know anybody. I did, Chris Hudler came there with me
Hmm.
for,
Y'all room together?
yeah, I
Hmm.
think, I'm trying to remember if he stayed one semester or two or an entire year, but it just wasn't his deal.
Right.
And so he left, and I really was there alone with my new friends that I had met.
Hmm.
But Vernon was just, I loved the small town, knowing everybody. My grandparents lived there too, my
Hmm.
dad's parents.
Hmm.
And, I did a lot of stuff on his farm. And, that was a big deal in my life too, just having that farm out there to go do. That's where we raised the cattle.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
brother had one too. He did it for fun. I was doing it for VOAG and FFA.
Right. Right. Okay.
It was good times. Teachers were good. I wasn't really into studying that much.
Hmm.
I did what it took to get by. I was a B student,
Hmm. Okay.
but didn't really apply myself extra.
Okay.
But that's on me. I wish I
Yeah.
had, in retrospect.
Right. What did you, when you left high school, did you already have a plan that this is what I want to do? Or in looking back, did you follow that path, or were you even thinking about this is what I want to do?
Yeah, what I wanted and how I ended up where I'm at is totally different.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I wanted to be a veterinarian,
Oh, okay.
and 'cause I love biology and I loved animals, and I just thought, you know how you are when you're in high school, you're like, going, okay, I think I want to do this.
Yeah.
So I went to college and I started my pre-vet. Pre-medicine is it's the same as pre-med,
Okay.
and so take all the same chemistries and biologies and all that stuff, and was doing okay. But I kind of brought on that whole do what you got to do to get by, and my grades weren't really that great. So
Mhm.
had a counselor call me in. He's like, "You're not going to make it with this pre med stuff. You're not cutting it." And I was intelligent enough to know it's on me. I wasn't applying myself. There's certain classes I just loved. Like botany was crazy fun. Enjoyed it. And then my time, I went there for 2.5 years.
Where's there?
Oh, Angelo State University. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, San
ASU,
Angelo.
Angelo
Okay.
State. And I decided, this not being focused, not studying, uh, partying a little bit more than I probably should. That kind of stuff was just, it was like, I'm burned out. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
2.5 years is enough. And so I transferred to Abilene Christian University, ACU,
Mhm.
and got more serious about my studies and found my wife there. And we're still married. In fact, we just had our 39th year.
Hey, congrats.
Yeah, yeah. So big one next year, 40 years. So uh,
Yeah.
yeah, it's been great. It's been great.
Yeah.
And
Good.
got serious about my studies and went into geology. So I
Mhm.
changed majors and got my degree in geology, which is
Geology.
basically all site geology because it was Abilene, Texas. So
What did you say? What kind of geology?
oil site.
Oil site. Okay. Because I
Yeah,
remember you wanted to do uh, my lack of knowledge of geology, stones and like
yeah,
rings and
yeah. So I met a friend at college at ACU, and his dad, he was from Brazil, and his dad had a jewelry business, and he sold it kind of out of his car, like closest thing I can think of is the Tupperware. They'd come to your
oh,
house and they'd show you all this Tupperware, but he did it with jewelry.
okay.
And so precious and semi-precious stones. And I said, hey, can you set me up and help me do this on my own? And he agreed. And so I was selling jewelry, and
Yeah.
we would you pick up the stone, and then I'd send it to Brazil, get it handmade, 18 karat gold, and get it back and sell it to just whoever wanted it. It was a lot of
Okay.
fun. So
Is that why? Sorry. Go ahead.
I turned it into a business. I mean, I actually started a business and
Okay.
was running a business there at the end
Hey,
of college and into
oh,
my young married life.
so while in college. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. All right. And so Kathy, is she from, where's she from?
She's from Jinx, Oklahoma, which is a
That's
suburb
right.
of Tulsa.
Yeah, I remember a group of us guys. I don't know if we were invited to your wedding, but we showed up at your wedding.
You
Uh,
did show up. You were invited.
I think we were. We must have been because we knew where to go. I
You know
remember
where to go. You were invited.
it was Dave, and we got in David Loxton's Good Time van. It was
Yeah.
David Loxton, Jody Stringer, I think, and Roy Stolley and Bubba. I think Chance Bubba Puckett.
Okay.
I think it was maybe I can't remember if somebody else, but I remember us driving from Vernon to Tulsa because you got married in Tulsa. Or did you get married in Jenks?
I think the address to that church was still Jinx.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. It's in Jinx. It's on Main Street. So
Okay.
yeah, but Tulsa is like three
Yeah, right
minutes down
there.
the road.
Yeah, I remember that was a fun trip and a fun reason to go. So I remember being at your
Yeah,
wedding.
that was
It's
great.
interesting. All right.
Glad y'all came. That was fun.
Yeah. All right. So you graduate. So are you married while in college or after college?
Right after I graduated, so Kathy, she graduated a semester before me. She
Okay.
went to Jinx and was basically planning a wedding because I had
Okay.
proposed before.
Okay.
And yeah, we I graduated, I believe, in early May, and then we got married in June,
Okay. All
June
right.
20th. Yeah, yeah,
39 years ago. So you
30.
just celebrated your 39th.
Yeah,
Okay. Wow. All right. Awesome. All
yeah.
right. And so all right, so you're doing the business part of school. And
Mhm.
so did you do something else in addition to that with the oil and the oil geology?
No, that's what's weird is I get this degree and I get married and she's in between jobs because she just got her teaching degree and she's been in Jinx planning a wedding
Yeah.
and I'm mowing yards for a guy. And
Okay.
that's what we're doing when we get married. We had
Oh.
like zero money.
Is that when you were living in Fort Worth? Did you live in Fort Worth?
Yeah, we moved because she got a job in well, it's in the DFW area. Can't remember, but anyway, it's on the Dallas side. She
Oh,
got a
okay.
job there, and she started teaching. And then I took a job at a retail jewelry store because I knew all about stones and
Yeah.
diamonds and gold and all that stuff, just trying to find a geology job.
Right.
And the price of oil had dropped dramatically. In fact, it happened before I graduated,
Okay.
and nobody was getting jobs. In fact, geologists were getting laid off. It dropped that much. I
Okay.
couldn't find a job for the life of me.
Mm.
And so I took a job there. And then finally, through a friend of ACU, her husband was opening up a print shop and just needed somebody to work there. And I was like, yeah, I'm ready to get out of retail. It's not fun. And so I took that job and I learned the printing company, the printing business, mailing business, and then worked my way up to management of that company.
Was that in
And
that was it downtown Fort Worth?
it was downtown Fort
I
Worth.
I remember coming to visit you a time on one of my investigations. I'd go hang out, and I remember
Yeah,
coming to see you guys. Did you live on like Green Street or Green Avenue
yeah,
or by TCU?
I did. I
Yeah,
did.
yeah. I remember
Great
coming to
memory, man. That's awesome.
you guys were pretty newlywed, I remember.
Yeah,
Anyway, so I remember going to that printing shop.
yeah, yeah.
All right, so
So
moved up
I
into
stayed there
management.
for several years and then kind of learned how to be a manager there. And then I got offered a job at a financial services company to run their print shop and their in-house mailing.
Okay.
And so I took that on and really ramped up computer skills because, 1990s is when it really got, and I didn't know that much. I didn't take any computer course, so I self-taught myself, but learned spreadsheets and all, Excel and all that stuff. And was there for 13 years running. I ended up wearing a lot of hats there because something would open up and if it was a service to the company, I would go there and say, hey, let me manage that too. And so I kind of built this little kingdom underneath myself and had different departments. I had got incoming mail at one point and facilities management, along with the printing and the mail and all that stuff.
Wow.
So it was
Okay.
it was it was good, but I learned how to do multiple departments, manage it. Became a senior manager, which means I had managers underneath me,
All
and so that's really where I got
right.
what I'm doing now. And so
Okay.
it was an interesting ride getting there.
Yeah. So when you say what are you doing now? What do you mean? You're not
Well,
still with the thing
after I
financial
left
service.
the financial service company, Wells Fargo came in and bought that company out. And
Okay.
so they had all of these rounds of layoffs because they said anything that overlapped, we're getting rid of you. And I was actually part of the team because I was also in charge of security. So I had to get their badge and,
Oh yeah.
basically say sorry and walk them out to their cars.
Yeah.
It was a horrible job, but, somebody had to do it.
Yeah.
And I got through all of it. And I don't know if it was because I was over the security department there as well. But in the last round of layoffs, I got laid off.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and somebody else had
Okay.
to walk me to the car.
Really? Ah, is that pretty recent or?
That was a long time ago. But
Oh, okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. After I left there, I worked for 19 years at another print and mail company. But that's what
Okay.
they did. They weren't servicing the financial services. It was like we are a print and mail. So if you got junk mail, I might have printed it. My company with.
You're the guy. You're the guy.
I was the guy. So I managed their print department, their mail department,
Okay.
and their warehouse, inventory control at that company for 19 years.
Wow. All
And
right.
so I learned a whole lot there from my boss. She was really good. She was very analytical and she taught me a lot. So and then when I left there on my own just because I felt like it was time. I was ready for a change. I'd gotten older. And so just 3 years ago, I moved back to Abilene,
Okay.
and which I said I'd never do because always I think it's ugly and it's
Oh,
flat. There's nothing to do here really, but the people here are why people come here. It's
um,
very Christian oriented. There's three Christian colleges here, and
mhm.
there's probably more churches here per capita than any city in the state.
Oh, really?
It
Okay.
could be in the country for all I know.
Yeah.
It's very Christian oriented here and very nice. The people are amazing here.
Okay.
And so I
Wow.
started a job here as the COO of a totally unrelated, got out of the printing business to take this, but I got offered the job, so I took it. And to be a COO of a chimney repair restoration company. So,
Yeah.
if you got a chimney or a
Yeah.
fireplace, we can fix it. We can build you one that didn't exist there. You want one on that wall? Okay. We'll
Wow.
eventually clear out the roof, build a brick
Okay.
facade, a stone facade, or whatever. And so I was there a year. I'm still there, but I was there a year, got promoted to president and COO.
Wow.
So I'm
Okay.
charging all the operations, and
Hmm.
we're making big changes there. It is a small company. It's
Wow.
a, we sold, at our peak, we had 2 million in sales, and
Wow.
we're down a little bit, but the economy drives it,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
like jewelry, you
Yeah.
know, it's extra if times are hard.
Yeah.
So, but it's coming around. It's picking up, and we're doing good, and excited to be there. It's a fun life, but I had to learn
Awesome.
some totally new language,
Yeah.
totally
All
new.
right.
Yeah.
What's the difference between this type of business and that kind of business,
Well,
financial or
I
printing?
always felt like, I can manage people. I get along with people. Most of the times they like me. And so that helps in being a manager because when you got to be stern, you got to be stern. But, if you can feel their real life experience and stuff, I think they appreciate that. And I try to enter into their worlds and listen to them. They come in, I put everything down, try to focus on them. And so I felt like, it really doesn't matter what the product is. What's the service? I manage
Mhm.
people. And if you
Yeah.
manage people, then you should be able to walk into any management job. It helps if, you got a background. It would help if I knew anything about chimneys. I knew nothing. I'd never
Yeah.
even had my chimney swept.
What?
So no, I never did. I didn't, my dad didn't do it either. I was like, it works, so
Yeah.
well, I'm messing with it. And
Yeah.
that's not the way to do a chimney.
Right.
Yeah, they need maintenance just
Yeah.
like
You
everything.
need safety. Yeah.
Yeah, I learned a lot.
Okay. But before you moved to Abilene, were you always in the Metroplex, DFW area?
Yep. It's there the
Yeah.
whole time.
I think for a while we lived relatively close when we didn't see each other. Like, did you live in North Richland Hills for a while?
Yep. Yep. I lived in North Richland Hills for
Yeah.
a while.
I was next door in Watauga, having babies
Yeah.
and stuff. And so I guess
Yeah,
you
that's
were
right.
all,
Yeah, I
we
remember
were,
that. Yeah.
yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
all right. All right. So you're president and COO, right? Of
Hmm.
a chimney, everything chimney sounds like.
Everything chimney. Right.
Any
It is.
fireplace chimney, all that, gas and
Everything.
fire,
Electric,
whatever.
gas,
Okay.
stoves.
All
In
right.
our neck
So,
of the woods, stoves are real popular. So it's on a pedestal, has legs, and it heats up, and that's what heats
yeah,
your room. Is that thing, that iron that it's
gets
made
hot.
out of,
Yeah.
hot, and it heats the house.
Wow. Okay.
Very popular here.
Good to know. All right. All right. So uh, in college, were you involved in any activities whether it's Angelo State or Abilene Christian?
Yeah, I was a walk-on pole vaulter. Well, and I did run the 200 at Angelo State
Yeah.
University,
Oh,
and
okay.
I didn't do great. But I was coming off a broken back. It's when I got out of
Yeah.
my, and so I
Yeah.
was out of shape. I gained weight, not a lot, but I gained a little weight and hadn't been running because I couldn't,
Right.
and it didn't come natural. I couldn't get back in the swing of it for that level.
Right.
So I vaulted at a couple of meets and ran at a couple of meets, just did terrible. So I had
Mm,
to just give it up.
mm, mm. All right. What was that like, wanting to do that and then realizing you couldn't at that level anyway?
It was discouraging. It was
Yeah.
sad. Yeah, because, I had always been in really tip top shape. And, I hadn't been lifting weights. And that was a big part of our life in football and track
Hmm.
too.
Hmm.
And, I was pretty wiry and agile and could do some gymnastic things and had to walk away from all that stuff. And
Mm,
so, you know what? I can do stuff for fun. I can play tennis and golf and all that. But, for competition, that level, I lost it. It just,
right.
in a year, I was in the body cast for 13 months, but I probably didn't. get back into sports till probably 20 months.
Wow. Okay. So almost your whole freshman year, you're in that that
Oh, yeah.
podcast, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. And so I know it was I think the summer of '84 when my plans to go to ASU and we lived together I was there for like what I don't know 2 months, 3 months, the summer. I
Yeah.
was there for the summer and then said, I'm not making any money. I gotta get back. I'm not gonna go to ASU. So I thought I was gonna be a United guy and career, and that's what my
Yeah.
plan was. But I'll tell that story whenever they interview me.
Okay.
All right. So are you still doing the precious stones thing throughout your career?
No,
Yeah.
I shut that down after a while. Life just was too busy, and it was really a at night weekend kind of gig because I was working, and so it got too
Yeah.
difficult, and there wasn't enough sales doing
Hmm.
that to justify being away from your wife and your kids and stuff. So
Okay. Okay.
laid it down.
All right. But so I mentioned kids. You have children, yes?
I have 4 kids.
4 kids. All right.
Yep, and that's kind of an interesting story too. So in
Okay.
1990, we had our first child,
All right.
and then 3 years later, we had our second child, and then we waited 8 years and
Wow.
decided we weren't done, and just laid
Okay.
it down. Said, "Okay, God, if you want us to have more kids, allow her to get pregnant." And man, she got pregnant right away. And so we had, like I said, 8 years from our second one. We had a little girl. We've had 3 girls, so that was my third girl. So my
Okay.
first two were girls, and we decided that with that big gap, our third daughter really needed a friend,
Yeah.
a sibling to grow
Yeah.
up in life with, and I'm super happy we did, and we ended up having a boy,
Okay.
which was a shock to everybody because we're like, we thought y'all were
Yeah.
gonna have girl babies,
You're a girl dad. You're a girl dad.
And I was actually nervous because I was like, I know girls, I can do girls. I've changed those diapers and I've had to, preteen them at that point.
Yeah.
And so we had a boy, and it's been a blast having a boy.
Hmm.
He's pretty special.
He's not a junior, is he?
A junior? No, no,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah, like a Mickey Jr. No.
no.
Okay.
His name's Cyrus. We named him. We actually felt like we got a word from God to name him Cyrus. And
Okay.
Kathy and I were reading in our Bibles one night, and she was pregnant with him. And we were looking. We were just I don't even think we were talking about it. We weren't, in fact. And so I came across a scripture where it talks about Cyrus, who was a pagan king, but God used him mightily to rebuild, and
Hmm.
Jerusalem is what his calling was. And it was amazing because I was reading the scripture and I just felt like, not that the name meant anything to me, it didn't. So
Hmm.
I looked over at my wife and I said, I think God just named her a baby. She goes, well, what is that? And I said, well, it's Cyrus. And she just looked at me and her eyes got huge. And she was like going, I'm reading that same exact scripture. We did not
Wow.
know that. We weren't doing a Bible study. We had just opened up our Bibles and were reading before we go to bed.
Hmm.
And so I was like, okay, we got goosebumps. So I run downstairs and I grabbed the baby book. You had this book of names, and what they
Yeah.
mean and all that. And Cyrus means the sun, spelled S-U-N,
Okay.
but it's also a play on words, the son, because we were pretty sure we were done. We
Yeah.
had 3 girls. And we were like, you know what? I think this is it. And we just prayed about it and named him after my dad, William Cyrus Lovelace. So
Okay.
that's his name. He goes by Cyrus.
Goes by Cyrus.
He goes
Okay.
by,
Cool.
yeah.
So no nickname, no C, no Psy, no
We call him Cy a
C.
lot.
Okay. All
Yeah, a
right.
lot of people do. Yeah, yeah,
Well, that's a great story, also, man.
yeah,
Uh, so what? So after graduation, it sounded like I know what I want to do. It sounds like God had a different plan. ASU, the different pre-vet stuff.
yeah.
How do you see? It sounds like you've had a faith for. I know
Yes,
you went to church a lot in high school, and so I know there's a faith base.
There was, yeah, I had my parents' faith, just like a lot of people do. I didn't
Yeah,
mature in that till I got to ACU and got a little older. Even when I first started there, I was still pretty worldly and kind of just thinking about myself,
sure.
and what I'm going to do. And then you take Bible classes here, at ACU, and then, you just start getting more mature, especially if you meet somebody like I did, and you're like going, I'm really need to get my stuff together. So that's when my faith really started to grow. And she was very strong. She's got an amazing background in her faith and all that kind of stuff. So she definitely made me a better man by marrying her. So I spiritually, and in a bunch of ways, but we're talking about the spirit, and just that she was a great encouragement, and like I said, made me better in that area. So we got pretty serious. I was a deacon at in North Richland Hills that we mentioned, at that church, Richland Hills
Mhm.
Church of Christ there. I
Hmm.
think it was called Richland Hills Church at that time. They changed the name.
Yeah, right, right.
And so I got real involved there. And then we changed churches and went to a little more progressive church. And we were in leadership there, having Bible studies in our home. And basically, we were just facilitators of that, and praying, and, keeping the conversation going and stuff. So yeah, it's been a journey.
Is there what's the moment in, I assume it's in college or at ACU, when you said it kind of, your faith took a turn more serious, more strong?
Yeah.
What's the event there?
I think I was just getting older and just thinking about, life after college. And, I'm thankful for my epiphany at Angelo State of going, I'm not my best person here. This is whether it was my friends or just my personal selfishness, just wanting to make Mickey happy and do whatever Mickey wanted to do, to go, I'm kind of sick of this. And I'd always wanted to go to ACU, but it was expensive. And I hated to put that on my parents because they had offered to pay for it. But my dad is one of the sweetest and most generous people I've ever met. And he was like, if you want to go there, we'll make it happen. So I don't know what he had to do on the back end, but he
Yeah.
made it happen.
But didn't he go to ACU?
He
Your
did.
dad?
He was full scholarship
Yeah,
football.
football. That's right. That's what I
Yeah.
thought. Okay.
He was kind of a
Wow.
big deal in those days.
All right. So what would you say is one of the biggest risks that you took in your 20s, and how did that affect you?
um, did you say in my 20s?
Yeah, 20s, or any big risk, I guess, for that
Well,
matter.
one of the big risks was, leaving college where you've established some friends, and that was a big deal because I basically started over. I think Jim Orr was there,
Oh, you
so
mean leaving ASU to all your friends to go to
yes,
ACU? Okay.
yeah, because you're really kind of starting over. Now I knew I had a couple of people there that I knew. Jimmy Orr was one of them,
Yeah.
and then Rob Bocart was there,
Mhm.
and they both ended up. I moved into a house. It was a duplex, but I lived in the side, and they lived on that same street with me.
Okay.
So it was kind of cool.
Was Starlin there? Did she go in
Darlene
there?
was there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Darlene introduced me to Kathy.
Oh, okay.
She
Wow.
didn't like in person introduce me. She
Right.
came to me and told me about Kathy and said, I think y'all's personalities would match. You ought to ask her out." I was like, she's dating somebody. She's like, no, they're just friends. I was like, okay, that's all I needed. I called
All
her
right.
up, asked her out, and the rest is history.
Nice. Okay. All right. Well, so having said that, what's the day or an event that marked the end of childhood for you and says, okay, I'm an adult now, it's on me?
I think it was my senior year. I had, in my final classes of upper level geology, and I knew I was going to get married, had proposed, and I just finally was like, because I always had this bad thought that I was a B student and I couldn't do any better. That was just what I thought. It was bad. And I just dug in and I made a 4.0 my senior year, got on the dean's list. And I was like, man, if I'd
Nice.
have done this the whole time. And I learned how to study too. I
Mhm.
figured out the style for me to learn, and and it was easy once I got in the hang of it. And it's like, I just wish I would have, but that was my growing up. That was my senior
Mm.
year in college is when I really started going, this is going to happen. And I'm going to be a husband and I got to take care of my wife. And, she's working, but, just feel like the male role is to be the, person that makes all the money and all that kind of stuff. And I believed in that. And it was like, man, I got to get serious about everything.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, so it sounds like pretty, from my vantage point, pretty wonderful life. Any hurdles along the way that you've had to overcome?
Um, you know, um, yeah, you go through seasons in life where things are hard. You can have a hard season with your marriage. You can have a hard season with work. You can't stand your boss anymore. And I've gone through all those things, just like everybody else. And
Hmm.
so it hasn't always been a cakewalk, but I've been blessed that God never left me, or forsake me. He was there. He was waiting on me to turn around and acknowledge him, and so many
Hmm.
times. But he's done miracles with me. I've got all kinds of stuff where I was running out of gas. I did run out of gas. I was driving in with my two oldest girls to Vernon, of all places, ran out of gas at the Canton Cafe when it was way out of town.
Yeah,
When driving in, it was one of the first
yeah,
restaurants.
yeah, yeah.
I ran out of gas right there. I mean, it was empty. And I thought I'd make it to that all Allsup's right down the road, but I didn't. And I remember getting out of the vehicle that we had at the time, going to the back and just laying my hands on it and just praying and saying, God, just get me to the gas station. Just please. I got my two little girls with me. It was just us three. And I got back in the car and that thing started up. And I drove all the way into town from out there, and which, you think is fumes. I wish I'd have looked at the gas gauge because it wouldn't have
Yeah,
surprised me if it would have gone up because of the way
yeah.
God. And we pulled in there. I got gas and was able to get to my parents' house and visit them and stuff. So I was like, man, that was cool. That was really
It's
sweet
amazing,
of him.
amazing.
But yeah,
Cool.
that was a memorable moment for me.
Yeah, wow. I know we have a lot of those. When you look back, you say, "Well, this
Yeah,
is where God was," and that was sometimes you don't notice it, but you were actually engaged in saying prayer and saying, "God, help me in this moment
yeah,
for
yeah, absolutely,
whatever." So
absolutely. So
great.
I just try to give God the glory for everything that's happened in my life because I had an event. So I'll just tell you about this event. I had a seizure at work, which is kind of
Oh,
embarrassing. But I've come to know that you just need to talk about real life. And so I don't know if you probably don't even know this, and you and I hung out a lot. I had seizures when I was a little kid. Did you ever know that?
I don't recall that.
Yeah, I didn't have them in high school or junior high. It was
Mhm.
pre-Vernon, when I was younger. I had to take medicine, and I would just kind of go stone cold. I'd just stare a hole right through you, and you could
Like
just go.
epilepsy type?
Yeah,
Uh,
it's called petit mal seizures, which
oh
means
yeah,
little seizure.
yeah. Mhm.
And I would just blank out. My eyes were open. I'd blink, but I was out. I have no
Mm.
memory of what happened during that whole time. So my
Okay.
mom noticed it when, off and on. And then they got me on some medicine and they say you'll grow out of it. So I grew out of it. And I had a seizure at work in the financial service company where I had mentioned earlier.
Hmm.
And nobody was around. It was I think a Sunday even that we'd gone in because we had some work that we had to finish. So I said, I'll pull a shift to help you guys out, the guys that run the machines. So I was in there pulling a shift. I was on the phone talking to the guy that was coming in, and I had a seizure while I was on the phone, and it was a grand mal seizure
Right.
where
Right.
you fall and the whole
Right.
thing, bite your tongue. It was bad.
Mm.
So that's just information that led up to this. I've had a couple more since then. I've been on medication. I've been praying about God healing me of it because I really didn't want to take the medicine. I don't like taking any medicines. And so I kind of weaned myself off. And I hadn't had one in a long time, 17 years. And I had one in January this year at work.
Oh, okay.
And I
Wow.
fell sitting down in a chair. I fell and I broke my leg and tore every tendon on my right leg. So my foot was
Oh,
just dangling under my leg. And so when I kind of woke from that, I was going to the hospital in an ambulance. And so I had to go through that. And, the whole question of why now, my daughter was about to get married, my third daughter was
Hmm.
about to get married. Of course, I've got to walk her down, give the father-daughter speech, and the
Yeah.
father-bride speech, and had all that stress. And I had a kind, godly man come into my office that worked for me. He was like, "What's God trying to show you here?" I was just looked at him. I was like, "Dude, I have no idea."
Hmm.
But I'm glad you brought that up because I need to start asking, what's going on? Why am I going through this? And during her wedding, the night before her wedding, I had a visitation from God in bed. I was just trying to sleep. And I had a vision that I saw my parents. My parents have passed away. And that was a really hard loss, by the way. And just you think your parents are going to live forever. And then when they die younger than you think they should, it's hard. And but I had a vision and I was able to hug them and
Hmm.
it felt like I was with them. And then he was just talking to me about divine appointments, that every appointment we have, including this one right here we're having, he's like, I knew about this while I was knitting you together in your mom, in your
Yeah.
mother's womb. And he's like, I know your story. I know everything. And these are all a series of divine appointments. You just got to be there, wherever you are, be there.
Hmm.
And, this was just a few months ago that I got
Right.
this vision or this dream. I don't think I was asleep. I think I was awake because I couldn't sleep. And, he just poured out this incredible amount of love that I just couldn't describe. I was bawling the next day. I couldn't even hardly talk to people. And he said, I will be glorified through all things. I will be glorified through your broken leg. I will be glorified at this wedding. I will be praised. And so I couldn't keep my mouth shut. I was talking to everybody. I did the father of the bride speech. I had to talk about it
Hmm.
and just say, God will be glorified here in this place. And so, this is, yes, we're celebrating, but God set this appointment up a long time ago.
Yeah.
He knew about this. And so I said, I just want to say, praise God for what he's doing, who he is. And I mean, he's our heavenly father. It's like he's checking on us constantly and taking care of us through all these things.
Yeah. What a great story, a great testament to
Yeah,
the greatness of God and how awesome He is. I heard
yeah,
something the other day about, we should be careful about using the word. People go, "Oh, that's awesome, dude. That's awesome," but we
yeah,
should say that for God because
yeah,
God is the one that's full of awe, and we should
absolutely,
just not,
absolutely.
not take that word lightly. So
Yeah,
that's great.
yeah, yeah,
Well, thank you for that.
yeah.
And I think by people hearing that, God will be glorified in that story. That's one of the I think avenues that He'll be glorified.
Yeah, it's all about him. And it's
Yeah.
not what we can succeed doing. It's like going, you can't when you really get it, you can't take credit for anything because the
Right.
Bible says God is good. And
Mhm.
you can't say, "Oh, you're good. You're good." It's kind of like the word also that you just mentioned. It's like nothing is good but God. Even Jesus said that. He's
Yeah.
like the Father is good, and it's like, well, anything good that I've done, well, guess what? It had to come from Him because He's the only
Right.
thing good.
Right.
So it's like you are where you are by the grace of God.
Exactly. Amen, brother.
Yeah.
All right, so let me get to a couple other questions. I feel like now we've been to the mountaintop. Now where do we go? Let's go back down to the valley and live this out. So uh, professional milestones. Did I ask you that already?
Well, we kind of touched on it,
Okay.
just professionally, just,
Yeah.
finally getting to this point that I'm at now.
Yeah.
I went through, not using my degree at all. But it got me to where I was going because I met people at college that called me and got me started in management.
Yeah.
So, that was a milestone getting into management and then getting into senior management and then ultimately, being a COO and now a president and COO. So those are great things. They're fun, but it's just the way life, it's where my path went. This is my life story.
Yeah.
And I'm
Just
very
thank
proud of
God.
my wife. I'm very proud of my kids.
Yeah.
Just love them and they love being with us still, which is a great thing.
Yeah.
Coming
Well,
over and hanging out, you
say
know.
again?
they like coming over and hanging out
Oh,
with us. I
yeah,
mean, we celebrate together, we have
yeah.
parties together, and it's just fun times. And my second daughter is pregnant, so I'm not a grandfather yet, but I'm about to be.
When is she
So
due?
she's due in August.
August. Okay. All right. All right. Pick
Yeah,
up on
so
that.
very soon I'll finally be a granddad. I got to come up with a granddad name,
Yeah, yeah. All
or
right.
the baby will. Somebody will name me.
Yeah, it'll be what it'll be. You can kind of start it off, but by the grace of God, you'll get called something
Yes,
wonderful.
hopefully nothing bad,
Yeah.
like boo boo or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So what has marriage and or fatherhood taught you about life?
Oh man. Well, marriage is all about sacrifice and love and doing your best to be unconditional, even though we can't accomplish that. I believe that if whether it's a marriage or it's a friendship or it's your children, that if you hyper focus on things you don't like about that person, you're going to be miserable. And
Mm,
I take that on as a in the position even that I'm in, because
mm,
guys will do stuff, and it's like, man, if I focus on that, I want to fire them. And the deal is you try to focus on the stuff that you like and love about people, and it's like you can either live a life of misery, if you use it for marriage, especially, if you're like, okay, I don't like because my spouse does this, this, and this. It's like, yeah, but what about the stuff this spouse does good? Just focus on that, and don't focus on the stuff that that's not their strength. It's like maybe they're not a good communicator or they're not a good gift giver. I don't know.
right, right.
Whatever it is, it's like going, just go, you know what? He or she excels in this area, and I love them for this.
Mm,
And then concentrate on that. And man, you're not going to live in misery. You're going to
mm,
go, these are the things I really love about my spouse. And you know what? That is worth fighting for and staying in it. And like I said, it goes for your kids and goes for everything, because kids are going to disappoint you. And the thing I learned with my kids is that I don't know how many times I would tell them things like, why do you keep doing the things I ask you not to do? And God just would put a mirror right up in front of my face.
Yeah.
And I'd just stand there for a second and go, oh, I got to
Oh,
go.
yeah.
Don't even
Never
answer
mind.
the question because I know the answer because
Yeah.
I'm living, you
Yeah.
know. So, that's things I've learned just being a husband and being a father and hopefully
Yeah.
being a granddad here real soon and
Yeah.
living that fun life too.
Cool. What has the culture, Vernon? You said it's a great place to grow up.
Mhm.
What has that taught you about who you became? Has that had an impact on you?
Yeah, I mean, I got my work ethic in Vernon through sports. My dad was a really hard worker, and he was the most honest man alive to me. He was high integrity. If you gave him too much change back, he would be going, "You gave me too much change back," and give it back to him. And
Mm,
he was very high integrity. And my mom, she taught me love. She was a lover. I mean, she just if somebody looked like they were alone in a group, she'd go over and talk to them. And so I had such good role models, parents, and I lost my mom. She got kidney cancer
mm,
and beat it, and then it came back and just spread everywhere, and she just didn't make it. And then my dad, he said, "I probably won't last 5 years without your mom." And she did. She took care of him, and he died 4.5 years later.
mm.
He had a stroke, and it really took him out. He was different, but he was right though. He was like, "You be careful of your words, though, too."
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
But
maybe you just wanted to be with her. The Lord
yeah,
said, bring
yeah,
them together again. Bill and Barb
yeah.
together again.
Truly miss them. They were great people. But
Yeah,
yeah, Vernon. In my jobs, I painted houses for Wagner State, where my
yeah,
dad worked. Painted houses, and Chris Hudler painted houses with me for I think one summer,
right.
and I think I did it for two. And then just that small town feel where you just kind of know everybody. That's a
Yeah.
great feeling. And moving to Abilene, even though there's like 120,000 here,
Mm,
it feels very Vernonish because it's
yeah,
small. I mean,
yeah.
especially on this side of town where we live where it's away from, because there's a section of town over there, it's like DFW. and
Oh yeah.
we hate going over there. It, you know, but around my neighborhood, I mean, there's no cars. You go out on a Sunday, you're sometimes one of five cars on the road. There's just nobody around.
Right,
And
right.
great feeling. It's fun.
Nice.
So it's Vernon was good to me, and I loved having that small town feel and knowing everybody's parents and meeting them, and we just I think we had a lot of fun growing up.
Yeah, we did. I can remember I think of all those several Vernon guys, I think were interviewed when they were doing my background investigation to go become an investigator. And I think did they reach out to you?
Yes, they did.
Yeah. Were you in Fort Worth at the time, or were you in Abilene or
I was in Fort Worth.
Fort Worth? Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember everybody was like, "Who? The FBI is coming to talk with me." I said, "They're not the FBI. They're doing what I'm gonna be doing." But everybody thought
yeah,
it was FBI because the way they looked, the way they talked, whatever.
yeah,
Thanks for the checks in the mail for all the good words that you
yeah.
sent you
There you go.
about me. Uh, and I think it was because we lived together for that summer in San Angelo. I think it was the San Angelo guy. He had that area that was contacting you, or maybe the Fort
Yeah,
Worth guy talking about San Angelo or whatever. I don't know.
yeah.
Anyway, uh, so do you think by leaving Vernon, because you talked about you wanted to do something different, did leaving Vernon shape you about or teach you things that you didn't understand in life?
By leaving,
Yeah.
yes, because when you work in a small town and then you go work in DFW, it's very professional. In the early years of my financial services, I wore a coat and a tie, and it was very formal. I hated doing it, but that's what the managers did there.
Mm.
Is it was much more formal. We ended up getting more casual, but it was always like Dockers and a button-down shirt, collared and all that kind of stuff. I get to work in t-shirts now,
Yeah.
and it's because I'm back to small town, but I got all this professional stuff, company handbooks, and because I'm writing handbooks for the company, and because they don't have one, and
Mhm.
so I'm developing things that I got from a big city to this small mom and pop type business, trying to get it to be a small business instead of a mom and pop. So
Right.
that's the next phase, and then after that, hopefully, if we grow or we may end up selling the company, if we get it attractive enough. And
Yeah.
but that's kind of my goal is just to. It taught me professionalism by moving off and doing all these professional jobs.
Hmm. Interesting. When you're talking about the Dockers and button-down shirt, collared shirts. I remember, there was a time, and I think you were kind of one of the main starters of that in high school. We went from, Wranglers and just t-shirts type stuff to you're kind of the preppy movement was coming in, and I remember Dockers or you know, khaki pants and loafers and dress
Yeah,
shirts, and you're kind of like a trendsetter in that
yeah,
area. I think so. This is the thing to wear button down polo shirts, that kind of stuff.
yeah,
Do you see that the same thing? That's kind of how Mickey kind of had that going on. So I remember like Chris would kind of wear that kind of stuff. We would all try to, I mean, I get, Izod or, name brands, but brands were kind of a popular deal. And I
yeah,
get like, what's the cheapest thing Ray can get? And I don't know. We'll find out. But does it look similar? But I remember you being a trendsetter about the preppy look.
yeah, yeah. I did. My mom was very trendy as she got older. She always wore fun, bright, loud clothing, but she was always in style.
Yeah.
And part of me going that route was also I was encouraged by my girlfriend at the time, and she was very preppy dresser and stuff, and I was easily swayed and said, "Hey, we'd go shopping, and it's like, hey, try this stuff on," and I tried on. I was like, "Yeah, I like it," and I was like I said, I was easily swayed just because I think I wanted to look nice, and I think my mom was like that, and then she encouraged me as well. And so I just started dressing nicer, and it just was a thing. I didn't
Yeah.
wasn't trying to be a trendsetter. I felt good in those clothes, so I wore
Right, right.
them.
Well, all right, cool. I just remember that. Well, that was one thing about Mickey. All right. So is there and you may have shared this, I'm not sure. you may answer this question, but so is there something about your journey that people may not know, or you want people to understand that they don't see on the outside?
Um, Probably something that people probably don't know is I'm a pretty major introvert. I don't know, maybe people know that,
Hmm.
but I, you know, happy just being with myself or being with my family. And if I'm in a group, I'm not going to be the one talking and carrying on the conversation. I'm more of a listener. I'll listen and I'll interject when I feel like I have something, but I'm not just going to be the guy that's sitting over there running his mouth and, I wish he'd be quiet. It's usually the other way around. It's like, I wish he would say more when we're in a group.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I think the main thing is I was a major introvert. I was
Hmm.
literally talked into running for class president by other people in our senior class and said,
Yeah.
you ought to run for it, and do this. I'm like, oh, okay. It wasn't some big dream of mine. And, getting up in front of people was definitely not my thing.
Yeah.
You have to grow that. Well, some people don't, but I had to grow that muscle where I could get up and talk and do all that. And I don't mind doing it now, but I didn't want to be on stage. Being in the senior play was really hard to get
Wow, really?
business. But again, I was asked to do it. Brenda Beebe came to me and sat me
Yeah.
down and said, I really, really want to ask you to do this, and I want you to be the one.
Yeah.
And so I accepted it, and I was glad I did. I'm glad I
Yeah.
did. And
It's
so,
good.
just the truth is I'm not that outgoing, be on this, big screen kind of thing, all attention on me. I don't want any attention, honestly.
Wow, interesting. That's
Yeah,
because this one on one or when we're in a group, we all just say what we say, and you don't think
yeah, yeah,
about introvert extrovert way back when. And in my I got certified in doing the Myers-Briggs, and so I learned a lot about introversion and extroversion and all that
yeah,
kind of stuff. And so it's
yeah,
funny how when people are introverted, uh, everybody complains like, why don't you say more? Hey, you need to speak up, do whatever. And people are just happy, just listening, observing, taking it in. I kind of ride right in the middle of introversion. I can extrovert really good, and I can
right.
also introvert
Yeah.
really well.
Well, that's what
And
about introverts. Most introverts can turn on the extrovert in
yeah,
themselves when they need to.
yeah,
But if you're an introvert or not.
yeah,
It's like no, it's like if it's two or three people, I'm fine. It's going
yeah,
to be a conversation all the way around. You get like 10 or 20 people in there, you're going to barely
yeah.
notice them there.
Right. It's all about energy, and I like to recharge your battery, you need to be alone, have some alone time. Like
Yeah,
I've been having to extrovert, it takes a lot out of me, so I need some alone time to just kind of, and that's the
yeah,
introversion. People think it's just shyness or whatever. Like that's not what it's about. But they complain about the person who doesn't talk a lot, but nobody ever tells the extrovert to shut up, or to be quiet, you're talking too much, knock it off. Nobody ever says that, right?
right.
Because they wouldn't anyway. But
Yeah,
so anyway, I just find that
so
always
true. So
interesting.
true.
One time I was in a car with two special agents. We were in training in Georgia, and I'm sitting in the back, and they're just going back and forth, and I wasn't saying much because I was listening, and I didn't have anything to add. When I have something to add to the conversation, I'll add to it. And then at one point, man, that Ray, he's just quiet as a church mouse. That's what I remember them saying. Like, and I had to say that. I said, "Well, I'm just enjoying your conversation and listening. And if you ask me something, I'll say something. I'll interject. But right now, I have nothing. I have nothing to add to this conversation.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
so anyway,
I feel a
uh,
lot. I was like, look, if I have something, I'll interject. But most
yeah,
of the time it's
yeah,
I'm
don't
good.
need
I'm
to.
good. I'm good over here.
So, Mickey, what do you hope that your story today teaches people or inspires them at all?
Yeah. I think just because of where I'm at spiritually is just to take that seriously and kind of what we kind of discussed is just like, praise God for what he's done for us. I mean, he sends us a savior because of our own lack. I mean, we can't do it. If you
No,
think you can work your way to heaven, you're messed up. It's
right.
not what good you do, and just to give him glory for everything, because it's it's I've done the other, and it's meaningless. And so, and you can live frustrated, or you can live a meaningless life, or you can just go, you know what? I'm going to enjoy where I'm at. I'm going to enjoy where I am. I'm going to praise God wherever I can. Just try to speak in the spirit as much as I can with all the distractions of the world and work and family and all that kind of stuff. I just feel like it's time to go. You know what? You're getting older. It's like I think I want to be happy,
Yeah.
and I want to enjoy this time. It's a precious time. We still got a lot of life left, and I just take your faith seriously. I guess to answer your question, and just really press in. And if you got problems, take them to Him.
Mhm.
He's more than willing to
Yeah,
listen to us.
great. Uh, so where have you found the most joy in your life?
Probably between just married life and kids. I'm just so proud of my kids. They all walk in faith, and they like being with us. It's just it's just fun to be in this stage and have this relationship with my kids. When you're kids, they're your kids, and then when they get older, they're still your kids, but they become your friends, and you talk differently like they're adults. And it's like my kids are gone into that stage where they're my friends now, and they're probably my closest friends are my kids and my wife, of course. And it's just it's a good time. It's I like where the season that we're in right now.
Great. And so has your definition of success changed from when you were in high school to today?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always thought I was going to get this big lucky break, and I wasn't going to have to work hard for it or whatever. And that's the immaturity of, young college years and high school. Like somebody's going to offer me a job that knows me or knows my dad or whatever. That just didn't happen. So, we had to work. We struggled most of our marriage financially, to be,
Yeah.
to be honest. It wasn't a cakewalk because
Right.
we chose to homeschool our oldest two kids. And so Kathy wasn't working, and so it was just on me. And then we had our other two, and we were much older. And it was like, we didn't homeschool. We probably should have. And we sent them to school. But, it's totally different raising kids when you've got, a gap of 8 years and a distance of 11 years between my oldest and then my
Yeah.
youngest. He's 3 years younger than my youngest daughter. So, we have this huge gap in there,
Yeah.
but they're all good friends. They hang out, they go do things, just them. I love
Great.
it. I got two married girls now, and um, my oldest and my youngest are not married.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Awesome. All
Yeah.
right. So, okay. So you're going to write a letter to Mickey in high school. What would you tell that guy?
Um, I think I would tell him much along the lines of what we've already spoken of just don't take everything so seriously. Have fun, but take your faith serious. And I had again, when you're young, it's hard not to have your parents' faith. You'll mature into having your own faith at some point. But just to enjoy the moment, like I said earlier, be there. Wherever you are, be there, and just get engaged and engaged in relationships and really cultivate those things, because I haven't done a good job of that. I don't see a lot of the Vernon people. I don't talk to a lot of them. When I see them, especially watching your podcasts, I'm like, oh man, I miss them. It's they're great people, and there's no love lost there. There's nothing but great memories of everybody you've interviewed. Some I hung out with, some I didn't, but I still liked all those people because we were such a small class that it's like it's great memories. I'm glad you're doing this, by the way. It's been really a blessing to see people and listen to their stories.
Yeah, there are a couple of guys that are doing podcasts for their schools, and one of them asked me, why are you doing this? So I have a reason. I thought, well, it was to connect people, one, and to glorify God through this and through
Yeah,
these types of stories. And there's this thread of uh, faith that's built in a lot of these stories of where
Mhm.
God has taken people.
Yeah.
And if you when you look back, we have the gift of hindsight. If we can just be in the moment and see it right then, but like, oh, this is what God is doing with that broken back, or
Right.
with the Cyrus, thing,
Yeah. Yeah.
so you can see it in that moment versus, oh, 20 years later, oh, this is why I had to go through this. So
Yeah. 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 You've got to, sometimes you got to get burnt to walk through that fire, a little bit.
yeah.
And that's kind of how my broken leg was. He actually healed me pretty fast. I was
Mhm.
told that you're not even going to put weight on that you're going to wear a boot all the way through May. Well, it's like, no, I've got to walk my daughter. And I was walking on my leg a month early and
Mm.
wore a tuxedo shoe, those
Did
shiny,
you? Yeah.
yeah. Had a brace on, a little, ankle, with the Velcro. I,
Yeah.
wore,
Yeah.
I walked with a tiny, tiny limp, but it hurt. But
Yeah.
I got through it and got through the whole night just wearing those shoes and stuff. So, he's been, he helped me to fast track me to get me, walking and moving around. So yeah, but it was a big learning lesson. And then not to mention, that encounter that I was able to have,
Yeah.
those are lifetime things that stick with you pretty
Yeah.
heavily.
Yeah. Yeah. He's pretty awesome.
Yeah, he is.
All right. So are there any parting words that you want to share that I haven't asked you, or any questions that you got, or how do you want to finish up?
No, I kind of wish I'd have been, more in tune with my classmates. I only went to, I think, one reunion. And, again, part of that was just that's where my introverted self showed up by not going back to those things.
Mm.
And just, I should have, I regret that. I should have gone to more of those things. I always saw the pictures afterwards and looked at people and smiled and just thankful y'all were there and everything. But yeah, just kind of getting involved with life and your past life and stuff. Once you get married, for me, it was like, man, I was all in. I was
Yeah.
all husband. I was all dad when I became a dad. And I just really got into that. And
Yeah.
I'm still there. I'm
Yeah.
all about,
Yeah. Right. No, it
yeah,
doesn't change. Yeah. No, that's
yeah,
good. And we have opportunities for others, and maybe you go to there, and if you don't, we'll miss you, but we have this, so this is good. So.
yeah,
Well, Mickey, I really appreciate you taking the time to do this. I know we've been in contact, and I know you had told me that you had broken your foot, and that your daughter was getting married, so we kind of
yeah,
put on hold for a while. So
yeah.
this has been in the making, folks, for a
It is.
while.
It is.
But I know people are going to love hearing from you, as they I think love hearing from everybody else. And I just want to say I I am. Um, I'm not sure what the word is, but I don't want to say proud, but I enjoy seeing how your life has turned out and that your faith is so strong, your marriage is strong, your relationship with your kids, soon to be a grandfather, and I tell you, that's as great as your relationship with your kids. Uh, Grandparenthood is, I don't know what's better. It's outside of going to heaven, but
Yeah,
it's like heaven on earth.
yeah, yeah,
But I really appreciate that the career and how God has moved in your life and taking you back to Abilene, kind of where it started with Kathy.
yeah,
Sounds like.
yeah, yeah,
It's a lot of circular motion in your life, and I think that's just wonderful to hear your story and to catch up. We were good friends in high school.
yeah,
Saw each other a couple of times. I remember the trip we took to I think it was you, me, Jay, to go see Chris Hutter in Denton.
yeah,
I think that's when you were still in a body cast, and so we've had some good times. And
yeah,
I value your friendship, and I'm glad to reconnect with you at least through this
yes,
medium. And if
yeah,
I'm ever in Abilene, you never know about me. I might just swing by, give you a holler, and if you're ever in
yeah.
the Austin area.
Okay, we'll
Hit
do
me
it.
up. We'll talk. All right.
That'll be fun. Yeah, I
All right.
appreciate it, and thanks for doing this again. And it's been so nice to see everybody, and of course, reconnecting with you as well. Appreciate your kindness and your heart to do this, because I know it's a lot for you to work this all out.
Well, it's a piece of cake. I like doing it. It's good. And I think this is we all have our certain gifts, and this is a gift that I can give to others to reconnect people, and then hear how people are, how God has worked in their lives, and how they give glory to God for what's been going on. Uh, that's icing on the cake, so to speak.
Yeah, I agree.
It's great.
All in.
All right, everybody. So that's another episode of In a Flash, The Years Go By, the episode with Mickey Lovelace. We'll see you all the next time, and y'all take care, and God bless. See ya.
Bye. See ya.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of In a Flash, The Years Go By podcast. If today's conversation reminded you of home, of lion pride, or of a chapter in your own life's journey, you're in the right place. Be sure to subscribe, share the episode with another lion, and keep spreading that Vernon Lion spirit wherever you are. And if you'd like to be a guest or nominate someone with a story worth telling, reach out. We all would love to hear from you. And until next time, remember, Lions, Lions, we back you, says the class of '82.
Richer